natural number. I'm going to talk about prime. Last few summer, I'm going to the ONR fellowship, summer fellowship, where I got an opportunity to work on number theory, which is not one of my favorite subjects, but we tried last couple of years to study number theory. So I'm going to talk about the distribution of prime. Just anytime you like to stop me, just stop me. We'll stop there. So this is Dan Jagier, is one of the mathematicians. So he talked about prime in contrast. So one, he said prime is the building block of natural number. All of you know that. And there is grow like weeds among the natural number. Seems to obey no other law than the chance, right? And on the same time, he is saying that the prime number exhibits stunning regularity. So he said, you can see the regularity. There's a lot of regularity in primes. At the same time, you see it's a matter of chance. So I'll talk about that today a little bit. I don't know how far you can talk. So here is the, I think, list of 500 primes I copied from internet. No. the Peter copied my picture from the internet. So here is the first 500 prime numbers, and you know, all of you know what are the prime numbers. And this is the prime, the largest prime we know so far. So there is a, Dr. Dipendra said there is a project in internet. So they produce the prime, the largest prime one can get, right? So we'll talk about that in a little bit of that. And also the David mentioned that the Mersenne prime. So this is in terms of Mersenne prime. We'll talk about the Mersenne prime in a minute. So let's talk about the primes. This is time of the Euclid elements, which is 300 BC. And the prime numbers have been studied till that time, ancient Greek time. And they proved two theorems. There are two theorems. All of you know this theorem. You don't have to be in mathematics to know this. There are two theorems the Greek proved. One is called fundamental theorem of arithmetic. But does it tell you that every number can be factored as a prime, right? It's product of prime and up to the uniqueness. Here I'll say if every number I'm lying that because number which is larger than 1. So we don't call 1 is a prime. The reason is that if I include 1, right, then we break the uniqueness. Because you can write 1 cube, 1 square, so you lose the uniqueness. Mathematics is very important, the uniqueness part, right? So this is the theorem you already know, every prime can be factored. Every natural number bigger than 1 can be factored into primes. The second theorem, which is a very important theorem, Euclid proved 300 BC, there are infinitely many prime numbers. He never gave a recipe how to find them, but he proved that. So I'm going to prove that for my students, right? Okay, so the reason I brought this up, because this is one of the beautiful proofs I ever seen. It attracted me into mathematics. So, and we always talk about the beautiful proof in class, right? You heard Dr. Jones said beautiful mathematics. So the Euclid proof using what is called reductio ad absurdum. This is, I think, a Greek word. What it means is the method of contradiction. So how do you prove this? There are infinity primes. You say, assume there are finitely many, and you name them P1, P2, Pn. So for example, suppose that's 2, 3, 5, right? These are prime, right? So these are finitely many primes. Then what you do, you multiply all those primes at 1. Right? So you get a natural number n. And then n is a natural number greater than 1, because you multiply them at 1, that should be bigger than 1, and n is not divisible by any of the primes. But your previous fundamental theorem says any number, natural number bigger than 1 is to be divisible by prime. That's a contradiction. So this is how it's a beautiful proof. The Euclid proved in his elements long time back. So I don't know how many of you know the Hardy. So Hardy was this called father of pure mathematics. So Hardy from the England, so he talked about what it means by reducible absurd method of contradiction. So it's a very powerful method in mathematics. I'm going to read that for you, so you can read that. So it's very, very powerful. I have something common with Hardy, not as a mathematician, but he used to like cricket, so, which I like so much. Okay, so as I said, Euclid says there are infinitely many primes, but he never gave us a recipe to find them all, right? But I'm going to talk about that, how to find a prime, because that's another avenue. I cut down those things from my slide. So let's talk about the Mersenne prime. As I mentioned there, Mersenne prime is in the form of 2 to the power p minus 1, when p being a prime. But it doesn't mean that if p is prime, this will be a prime. No. If you look at this example, right, 2 to the power 11 minus 1 is not a prime. So those are prime, 2 to the power p minus 1, 2 to the power p minus 1 is prime, they are called Mersenne numbers. So the largest known Mersenne number is this, which you saw it earlier, right? And there's a project, the Great Internet Mersenne prime, but you can get like $500 if you produce one. You know? So you can get a $500, you can make a lot of money out of that. Every year and give you a new one. But so this number, to produce this number, I'm not going to go with that. There is an algorithm which is called Lucas-Lehmer algorithm you can use to find this prime. Okay, so the twin point conjecture, this is one of the conjecture. I think, I'm not sure whether Euclid knew it, but this looks like Euclid knew it, the way he proved there are infinitely many primes. But Euclid probably knew. This is the twin point conjecture. So these are the primes, right? Twin point conjecture tells you this is the twin primes, 3 and 5. 2 primes are called twin if their difference is 2, right? 3, 5, 11, 13, 29.
He's touching the board.
What do we do?
Tap the board.
Huh?
Tap
Tap the
the
board. Okay. So Euclid might start.
17,
So say it again?
17.
Oh, I missed the 17, 19, you know. So you're paying attention. Okay. So there are infinitely twin primes. This conjecture is since 200, 300 BC. You know, really, frankly speaking, this prime number theory did not move much since then. So I'm going to talk about one of the big results came in the last few years. So it looks like that Euclid knew it because he uses this idea, right? Multiply all the primes and add plus or minus 1, right? So that's the way he tried to sketch his proof for there are infinitely many primes. So, but unfortunately, when you subtract 1 and you have 209, which is not a prime. So he thought that you can generate this prime multiplying the primes, consecutive primes, add 1 or minus 1. But that project did not work because obviously that is not a prime. So Euclid already suggested this, that probably that there are infinitely many twin primes. A lot of people worked so many years, but still didn't come up with an answer. So, but still we know that there are the largest known twin primes. These are the largest known twin primes. Again, they're not Mersenne prime, right? They're Mersenne prime, right? One is minus 1, one is plus 1, right? So they are Mersenne prime. And this is how many digits long? 200,700 digits long. And it was discovered in 2011. This is an update of the twin prime conjecture. This is done in 2013. Zhang. This guy inspired me so much in the last couple of years that you can do mathematics even if you are old. People hardly says, you're done with your mathematics if you're over 40. Right? But this guy disproved hardly. Zhang, he got a PhD, the same institution from Dr. Houston. He got a PhD from Purdue. He had a fight, some argument with his advisor, and then advisor didn't write a letter for him, so he never got a job after his PhD. So he was working as a Subway making sandwich. For 10 years, never published anything, and then he was picked up one of his friends to get a job, teach calculus in the University of New Hampshire. And he was there yearly basis. His chair later on said that I used to remind him every year that your job will not be there next year. But anyway, so he proved one of the theorem which took the world. So this is his theorem that he said that the twin prime means there are infinitely many prime whose distance between those two prime is 2, right? Right? But nobody ever gave any bound for that. So he proved there are infinitely many pair of distinct prime which differ by no more than 70 million. So he put a bound on that. All these people in Stanford, Harvard, Berkeley, they have been trying this problem so many years, and this is the guy who didn't have any job, right? Finally got a job, and at the age of 57, he proved that theorem. And after that, then bound reduces to 246. So there are infinitely many primes, such that the pair, the distance between them is at most 246. So people are trying to make it 2, then they can prove the twin prime conjecture. So he proved that at the age of 57. So this guy really gave me an idea that I can do mathematics at this age. Okay, so he deserves a picture here. So if you look at this theory of the twin prime conjecture, this is a one conjecture, but I think the Polignac formulated a conjecture, general conjecture. There should be infinitely many pair of primes with any even finite gap, not just 2. So you can have a 4, you can have a 6, you can have a 8, you can have a 10. So in this last 2 summer, we are trying to address some of these. I'm not going to say exactly the conjecture, but something similar to that. So let me just, Andrew Granville is one of our good friend, he's in Canada. So he said this, that Albert Einstein was in patent office when he did physics, right? And this guy was in Subway. But they really wanted to do mathematics or physics, right? Regardless. We get paid, that's how we do the mathematics problem. Okay. So I'm going to go a couple of more minutes and then I'll stop because I don't think I can finish all this. So why these primes are mind-boggling? Why they're unpredictable, random, right? So if you look at this, there is no structure here in that sense that the way they're going, 2, 3, right? 5, 7, there's no formula for that, just like this one, right? This is a formula like n squared, right? So this is a deterministic formula, n squared, so you can find all of them. But there's no formula for the prime. And I don't think there will be a formula. So Dr. Molly talked about Paul Erdős, right? So this is a quote from the Paul Erdős, who is one of the famous mathematicians. So now, as I said, this is a random numbers, people say, or pseudo-random. Pseudo-random means it behaves like a random. But there is a structure. I don't know how many of you know this structure. This is simple, right? They're all odd except 2. Right? How many of you know these? They're adjacent to the multiple of 6. Adjacent to multiple of 6. That means 6 plus or 6 minus. You know that? It's like a 6n plus 1, 6n minus 1. If you look, take any prime, 17, right? 3 times 6 is 18 minus 1. And that's simple because you can prove using little division algorithm you learn in your high school, right? Take any number, divide by 6, right? How many remainder you can have? 6. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Yes?
Yes.
Then means every number can be expressed as 6n, 6n plus 1, 6n plus 2, 6n plus 3, 6n plus 4, 6n plus 5, right? But if you look at 6n is not a prime, you can discard that. 6n plus 1 could be prime, you don't know.
Yeah.
6n plus 2 is not a prime. 6n plus 3 is not a prime. 6n plus 4 is multiple as 2, not prime. So only number could be prime is 6n plus 1 and 6n plus 5, right? So all the primes either would be 6n plus 1, 6n plus 5. So that means prime number is adjacent to 6, right? That's very interesting observation here. I don't know how many of you know that. This is the last two observation. So this is, I'm talking about the regularity of the prime. So the last digit is always 1, 3, 7, and it makes sense, does it?
Yeah.
There are two exceptions. What are the two exceptions? 2 and 5, right? There are two exceptions, 2 and 5. Last digit cannot be 2, it will be divisible by 3, cannot be 4, so any even cannot be the last digit, right? Only odd, if it is a 5, it will be divisible by 5. So it has to be 1, 3, 7, 9, right? Okay, so this is the last thing I think to say. So the question is, how do you count the prime? So this is the function, use number theory function again, phi of x. Phi of x means number of primes less than or equal to x. So how many primes less than or equal to 10? How many primes?
5.
How many? 2, 3, 5, 7, 4 of them, right? So that's what it means number phi of 10 is 4. I don't know how many have you played with those people who are in number theory class. Phi of 100. I mean, how many primes less than or equal to 100, which happen to be 25. Okay, so I have a mathematical, so I can figure out a lot of them. So pi of 100 is 25. Pi of 1000 is 168. I really get confused with the billion. So I think this is the billion, right? Pi of 10 to the power 9. That's just the American way to say billion. We never say billion back in home. And then 10 to the power 10, that many of prime. Look at the percentage of prime. So this is a picture from the Mathematica, that phi of x function. So it's just like a step function, right? So as you go x, so it's getting up. So, but infinitude of prime, so that means pi x will go to infinity as x goes to infinity because there are infinitely many primes. So the number of primes will be so many when x gets very, very large. So this is the proportion of prime. So the 10, how many percentage? 40%. As the number goes up, percentage are going down. So that means if you go out there and try to find a prime, it will be very hard to find a prime, right? Very little percentage of primes are there, right? So Gauss figured this out way back at the age of 16 or 15. So that the percentage of prime. So he found out this in 15, that how do you find the percentage of prime? He said that, okay, this like average is 1 over the density of the prime, which is the percentage of prime, is averaged like 1 over natural log of x. So which roughly speaking, that x over 2 times the number of digit of x. So like for example, pi of 99, you don't need a mathematical to figure this out approximately. So 99, how many digits you have? 2. So 2 times 2, just 24.75. Not bad, right? Gauss that figured that out that at the age of 15 without Mathematica, right? That is a 25. It's very good approximation. This is 167, right? So this is good approximation. So using Gauss idea, this will be that. Correct answer is, so it is not bad, right? So that time when Gauss found out the density, you can integrate the density from starting point the least prime to the any x, you got a function which is called the Gauss function. And Gauss says this is the function you can use to find out the number of primes. Might not be exact answer. So you can see that this is using, this is again Mathematica I use. 10 to the power 10 using the Gauss function. We got number of prime is this, but correct answer is 455,052,511, right? It's pretty close, right? So we're going to stop here. I don't think I talk about this. So I'll please quickly run this down because I don't want to stop. So that's just going to take so long a time. So just one idea that which we are working on. Maybe I'll talk about the prime difference count. So you take the prime and take the all possible difference. I'm just giving you an example here. I take this sequence. These are all prime, right? And then I look at all possible difference. 7 minus 5 is 2. I write down that, right? So then 11 minus 5 is 6. 13 minus 5 is, and I keep doing it, right? And then once I'm done with 5, then I start with 7, right? 11 minus 7 is 4. Then I take all the possible difference between the sequence. I can do it for the whole prime sequence, right? But I just give you an example for this, right? That for few number, I can do that. As you see that what will happen, first one, I have how many? I started 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? Then first one I get what? 6. And then it's going to down by 1, eventually 1, right? So this is, how many numbers are there? 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4.
Just
right?
four.
That's sort of like that, but rare.
But just click backwards.
Backward?
Yeah, and then step away.
Oh, you know that this is the Gauss sum, right? N times n minus 1. So in general, if you have n primes, you can produce all the difference. You can, how many difference? N times n minus 1 over 2. Look at this. Now I have all the even numbers, right? So the difference between 2 primes are all even, except I did not take the 2, right? I took all the odd all prime, and the difference between 2 odd primes will be even, right? Which one appears most often? 6, right? So this little sequence 6 appears so often. So if you define what is called primordial number is the product of successive prime. So the first primordial number is 2. So the first prime is 2. Next primordial number is 2 times 3, which is 6. The next primordial is 2 times 3 times 5, right? So what we found out that the prime difference, which appears often, is nothing but primordial number. So this is one of our major theorems we prove. It's a lot of work, but this is the major theorem we prove. And then the primordial numbers, as n gets large, this gets to infinity. That's the part of the proof. I'll stop here. So let me turn down the last part. So again, I finished with the quote from the Granville. The prime numbers are the most basic objective mathematics. They also are among the most mysterious for after centuries of study. The structure of the set of prime numbers is still not well understood. Describe the distribution of prime is at the heart of much mathematics. So thank you all for coming here and celebrate my birthday. I'm really truly honored by your presence, especially my students, family, friends, and my colleagues. And Koshi, as he told, as Reshma told, that Koshi, we worked when he was here, we published a paper together, something. So he's very special to me. This is a Ulam spiral, if you want to Google it and try to check it out, because he was in conference, Ulam was in a conference, and he was doodling. Because it was so boring, I know that there are so many people who are doodling something there in their paper, and then when you doodle, you get something like this, right, which is original mathematics, that he used the prime distribution using this spiral. So you can look at this, still try to understand how this is being distributed is still unknown. So I'll stop here. Thank you very much. took your time from your dinner. So we can rush to the restaurant right now.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
I say, how you know about that? I'm in school. I'll come next week. No, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I know people hit me up talking about the number of children. I was like, I'll let you know. I think I get off first.
Before we go to please don't stand there.
I don't even know what's doing. Big check. Big check. I'm gonna take a look. That's what I
নাকি পৌঁছে গেছে তো সেটা বললাম যে আমরা এখন এখান থেকে ওরা
All the presenters and you took
Okay. Yeah, you can.
I was trying to remember that song.
With us?
all the presenters.
We do.
No, he
I mean, that made it.
Dr. Houston.
Take it.
You know the drill, 3, right? All right. Here we go. Number 1. Number 2. And number 3. Okay?
Thank you.
All right. Can we do one with all of these former students and current students?
Okay. Hey, take me another. All right. Yeah.
But you're a student, right? You're calling for all
My fans call. Make sure.
Former students and current students. Was Mr. Sengupta?
Okay. 919-395. All those numbers should be in every single one of them.
Yeah, we didn't get that many.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Play with
See, I know when you change your size. Because I can't see Dana at all. It's not on anything.
I know you know how to run this. Take my picture. Yeah, the circle.
Alright.
Can you see everybody's face?
One. 2. Number 3. Okay. Thank you.
All right, you didn't hook me up. Yeah, all right, you work. You get it back.
I got you.
You do very well in the, I saw in the
It's wrapping up and then
I won't mind to say something too.
Yeah,
I said, I won't mind to say something too.
That should go down to Houston. She in the hallway. She's in Elizabeth Reed. That she is. Miss Elizabeth Reed right here.
Oh, yeah, they didn't give her enough time off.
You know what?
Send me a call.
Can I get a copy when you get it situated? Thank you so much. Very well.
It was a great honor to
How they all know stuff like that. She said,
there's
I work in Boston, so I know the city up there. You know things have changed. I know people already there. Yeah, I don't know, but I never thought I was gonna come back. When it came to the area, it was like, so now I'm back, I know where to go. It made the world. Just that, I went for the money, right? That's all.
and
Yeah, like, I was going for
And here, the other one here for the doctor. He's a millionaire. I'm trying to help him.
That's right, that's right. I just like more time for my life. Thank you, sir. Hey, take me another. You got it. This rainmaker here, man. This is how we want to be around people like that.
Get my hat real quick. I can't let the curls out.
Just turn.